So he only played about, I don't know, 45 minutes of Chrono Cross after spending a few hours trying to get it working with the emulator, which was a big problem. It was a problem with RetroArch, because whether I was using one of the PlayStation cores in RetroArch or N64 core trying to run Ocarina of Time, it just was going really slow. And the other emulators on my computer worked, so the solution ended up being having to reinstall RetroArch, which I thought deleted all the games out of my RetroArch download folder because they were empty. That folder is empty, but it wasn't in a recycling bin. The computer just dumped them into another downloads folder I had that was completely unrelated to RetroArch. Anyway, I got all the games back. I had to find the BIOSes and download them and rename them to, you know, SCPH and all that. And you have to have like 3 different BIOSes: Japan, America, Europe, even though I'm only playing an American version. And now, like Horky's saying, yeah, sometimes just playing the remake, the remaster, whatever, or like on Game Pass, or like on a backwards compatible console like the Xbox, just putting in the old one and having it work. Like, yeah, I could get Morrowind on my PC and I could download a bunch of mods, or I could play it on the original Xbox version and play it on an Xbox Series S, and you basically play it on any Xbox after the original Xbox. I don't know if the Xbox One is backwards compatible, but you know, the rest of them are. At least starting with the Xbox One, the Xbox One X. Anyways, it does, emulating can be great, obviously. I mean, you can upscale stuff, and it's free. I don't like to steal, though. I'm happy to pay for games. But it does, the Square Enix, like this port that they did, this remaster port, looks pretty shit, you know? Some of the resolution is a bit higher, but some of the port, some of the, like, what do you call it? The font looks like really ugly sometimes. And I heard that there's performance issues in the combat, like stuttering and slowdown. And then somebody in the Discord was saying that the new arranged music sucked, but that it wasn't even in the game. The Switch remaster of Chrono Cross was only available if you buy the vinyl. So you got to pay a huge amount of money for some music that at least one person has described as ass. So once we finally got this thing up and running, definitely what's the most impressive thing about it is the music. The music's so good, so lively, a lot of real instruments. It does mean that it sometimes has to load in the tracks, so there's about a half second or a second of a delay while you wait, which you didn't have in Final Fantasy VII, even though you had lesser quality sounding instruments, but everything happened instantly because it was using the hardware on the PlayStation rather than off a CD. Yeah, the music is, it's just jamming and worldly and super fun and organic, and the colors, they're so blown out and colorful and over the top, and the portraits and the characters are quite maturely drawn. I find it definitely, like Monkey Island. It does look like you're playing one of those point and click games where they could really put a lot of detail into the visuals because you just slowly moved a 3D character around and picked up items. So it definitely has it in terms of ambience, music, visuals. Story so far, he has maybe seems like a dream, and then he's gonna go and he had a premonition of going to that dragon tower with those people and fighting robots, and then maybe seeing his friend die. Lena, I think. Actually, the dialogue was a bit funnier than I thought it was going to be, especially with Lena, his pushy girlfriend. So hopefully she joins a party and you go on a big quest and she's got a lot more jokes up her sleeves, or just ordering them around. Their dynamic seems pretty good so far, as we're off doing an errand for her, getting the 3 dragon scales, and they have to be from you. I'll be able to know. Like, all right, come on. So, even though I'm super drowsy now because it's, it's like 1 or 2 in the morning, I am interested in playing this a bit more. And probably just skipping the remaster. I got so burned from that GTA Definitive Edition, and even the remaster of Dead Rising 2 crashing all the time, and some other remaster issues where I'm just kind of done with them, unless they're really going to do a good job. On an unrelated note, Remedy, like Horky found, is going to be remaking Mad Max 1 and 2. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to capture the original magic of those ones, but I wish them well. So, Chrono Cross. Great ambiance. We'll see what they do. Oh yeah, the combat. You choose between a light, a medium, and a heavy attack. There's different percentages. Every time you hit an enemy, they're easier to hit the next time, which makes sense. So I guess they're trying to get you to incentivize you away from just hammering the attack button and trying to make it a bit more interesting. They don't quite have the Paper Mario idea of timing the attack and timing the defense, which really, really works. Like, I remember so much in South Park Stick of Truth, you wouldn't survive a battle if you weren't really trying to time your offense and defense, and it made a huge difference. It was so engaging. Short, tall, and grande. And then you have the elements, and then there's this thing where you have some sort of gauge that measures the battle area and what element that battle area has, which is pretty cool. So you're sort of interacting with the environment, maybe loading it up, making it blue, and then having to use a red element, and that's going to do like double damage or something. So that's a nice little wrinkle that I haven't seen before. Although you think of something like Divinity Original Sin, where you're actually literally casting, say, fire on the ground, and that's going to have an elemental effect to it. So it's cool to see it in a more simplified JRPG like this. So yeah, I look forward to exploring it some more. See if it's worth its name and all the trouble it took to emulate it.